Here is an exercise for developing the half bar. A lot of times people don't realize that the half bar is very difficult and it needs a lot of special training to develop it. You're not going to get it well just by practicing the chords themselves. And a lot of people who in their playing, when they do a half bar, they're not really doing it well, even though they manage to get the chord out. What I mean by that is that you'll often see players will put down a half bar, maybe 4 strings or 3 strings, and you'll see the other fingers crowding over and helping out. That's a real handicapped way to do it, because then you can't use those fingers for other things. If you're developed properly, you're going to be able to keep 2 and your other fingers away from and separated from the bar when you place the bar down. So if you had to do one of those difficult chords like an F7 at the 1st fret or an A7 like that, it's going to look like that. Now, here's a way of developing it, because if you just try to get it by doing those chords, you're most likely going to run into a lot of problems. So, here's what we do. We go up maybe to the 9th or 10th fret. You first just lay your fingers. You relax everything, of course. You lay your finger. Say I'll do the 3 string bar. I lay down a very light finger with no pressure. And I will then place my 2nd finger on the 4th string, just touching the 4th string. Now they're both very light and relaxed. I could flap them up and down like that, and I have that separation. That's what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to slowly begin. I'll start with the 2nd finger to begin slowly to press on the string, not even pressing it all the way down, just bouncing on it a little bit and letting the string bounce my finger back up. And I'm going to make sure that none of my other fingers tense up. I don't want to see any of that as I bounce that 2nd finger. I want to be able to keep the separation. So what I do is I press very slowly, checking my breathing and my shoulder and relaxing. And gradually I'll get it further and further down. Now, when I get it about halfway down, I'll also put on my 1 and press a little bit with that. And now I'm squeezing with both fingers like this. And as I squeeze, I check my breath and I check my shoulder and my entire body for relaxation. And then I'll add my arm weight to it, so that that helps press the strings down. If I see any signs of the fingers coming together, I know that the muscles in my hand right here are tensing up and I have to relax. So you could spend a few days just doing this and getting used to it and doing it at the different frets. And you'll be getting everything prepared properly. Eventually, you're going to have the ability to actually get the strings all the way to the fret. The reason we start on the 4th string is because the more we bring the finger over like this, the more the finger is flexed, and so the more tension there must be, because the muscle in the forearm is tensing to flex that finger. So after you get comfortable with doing this with 2 on the 4th string, then practice it with 2 on the 3rd string. And you go all the way down the neck each practice session, and maybe come back up too. It just needs repetition. Not too much. I wouldn't really do it more than 3 to 5 minutes a day, because you could damage yourself if you do that in the beginning. So I'll practice it on the with 2 on the 2nd finger in the same way with the slow squeeze, and then I'll practice it on the 2nd string, and then I'll practice it on the 1st string. And that would be the hardest, especially to do it all the way down here. It could take a month to develop this. It could take 2 months, 3 months. It doesn't matter, because you'll start to see a benefit from it right away. After you do that with the 2nd finger, then you can do it with the 3rd finger, and you can do it the same way. Of course, this is very useful because we often have chord forms. Like a half bar minor chord that would go like that. We might need that, we might need that. People often are very cramped up in these positions because they're just letting their fingers squeeze together, and then they try to do different things with their fingers, and the fingers don't really want to move because they're all cramped up with tension. So it's very vital for proper guitaristic development to develop your half bar in the way I've shown you here.